Margaret Thatcher once said, "If you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman." This quote highlights the decisive, action-oriented nature of women. While words have power, real change happens through persistence, determination, and the ability to get things done, qualities women have long embodied. And today's guest is someone who did not wait around to get a job done. Welcome to Her Story, where we celebrate the voices, dreams, and resilience of extraordinary women. We're coming to you from Home Basic Interiors. Our location partner, Home Basic Interiors, is a trendy store offering the latest furniture and stylish interior decor, perfect for transforming any space into a modern and elegant haven. Meet Deki Zam, the passionate president of Draktsho Bhutan, dedicated to empowering young persons with disabilities. Through skill development and vocational training, she ensures they become self-reliant and lead fulfilling lives. With unwavering determination, she breaks down barriers, proving that ability transcends gender and differences. Hello and welcome, Deki. First of all, let me take this time to thank you for making time for us, because I've been meaning to have you on the show. It's such a pleasure for me. I always take my guests back to when they were younger, because I believe how you were as a kid sometimes have a lot of impact on how you are as an adult. So going back, what was a core childhood memory that has left an impact on you?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Choni, thank you for inviting me to the show, and I think I'm quite privileged and honored to be a part of your show. So thank you. And then now going back to your question, I think as a child, I used to be, let's say, the good memories which I have. Of course, everybody has very good memories, So the one which I would like to recall is, I was very playful. I was very playful, and I was so much into sports, and I used to really love playing all those games, And back then, in our times, we never had tablets, we never had phones. So I grew up, I should say, playing Ringo, like Seven Stones and marbles. Also chunky also. So I was very sporty, and then I was always into all these games, being very naughty also. And then we had our neighbors, with friends, and then we used to all come together, play like from morning till night, apart from school, as soon as we were back from school. So that's one of my, I think, best memories, like, sometimes being naughty also. And then I was a big tomboy. Big tomboy. I used to be quite dark, like tan, and I used to have a fringe and then blonde hair, and very much into a real tomboy. So then how I changed means, I never realized, and I never thought that I would actually, have this little kind of transformation, because now if you look at me and then my friends tell me that, okay, I have become a little dainty. So my mom said then, I went to college. I did my college in Jesus and Mary from Delhi. So after I came back, my mom was like, the only thing you learned was to, wear some makeup and then be dainty. But till I went to college, even during my teenage years, I used to play a lot of tennis. I used to play even football. I tried. I wasn't so good, but I did try. Then I was into table tennis, taekwondo. So I was even into the National Athletic Federation under the BAF, Bhutan Amateur Athletic Federation. So I even trained as a professional athlete. So I tried a lot of things. So these were some of the good memories which I had, which I still carry on. So after I went to college, and then I lost touch with sports for quite some time, let's say about 15 to 20 years. And now, from last year onwards, again, I'm trying to get back into a little bit of physical activity after a very long break. So I think that's one of the best memories I would like to recall.
So Deki, from a very crazy, and I think a very fun childhood, to Deki now as the executive director of Draktsho. How did you decide to be in this field of work?
Okay, so, well, I never wanted to become a social worker. Back then, when we were just studying in our college days, we had our own ambitions. So my top priority was I wanted to become a pilot. And then the second was, I always had my options. Second was, I wanted to become an army officer because, with the sports background, being very active and tomboy. So I was like army officer. So these two were my top priority. And then being a social worker was never on my agenda. You never know where your life leads to, how your future would be, you know. So then I graduated. And as soon as I graduated, I actually worked with my auntie in a hotel. So I worked there as a reservation manager for 1.5 years. And when I was doing that work, I used to go and volunteer at Draktsho. Draktsho is actually founded by my mother, who was back then known as Jigmyongmo, but now she is known as Rizin Padma Tsogel because her root guru actually asked her to change her name. So she goes by the name Rizin Padma Tsogel. So Draktsho was founded in 2001. So I used to just drop in a bit and, you know, teach the students some skills like sports and especially English. And then I left Hotel Chomalhari. I used to work there. And after that, then since then, I have been like stuck with Draktsho, you know. Then
So when did you fully commit to Draktsho then?
okay, the full commitment, it took some time, you know.
Because you
So,
never thought that you'd
you know,
be in that field other than volunteering and helping out your mom.
exactly. So I joined Draktsho in 2006. So as soon as I joined, then I was engaged in, you know, teaching English and sports to the students. So when I went to the classrooms, I had no idea about disability. I had no idea, like, you know, how to teach a child with disability. So I was getting quite frustrated, and I went with a stick in the classroom, and then I was like, you know, do this, do that, like 1 + 1 is supposed to be 2. Then I got so frustrated because, you know, I was losing my patience. Then my mom said, you're not supposed to take a stick in the classroom. You're not supposed to treat them like that. You should be calm, humble, gentle. And I was like, no, I just tend to lose my patience, you know. So then that's when I decided, okay, I must pursue my further studies in this field. And then I was just like surfing online, like, where do I go? But I wanted to go to India because I heard that India is a good place to actually pursue your further education. And then one fine day, an Indian tourist drops by, a lady, and then she just went by and she was like, okay, I work for Tata Institute of Social Sciences in Mumbai, and then from next year onwards, we're going to start this social work program, a master's in social work, specialized in disability rehabilitation. So she just told me, and I was like, oh my God, thank God. I was actually looking for, you know, I didn't know where to go because there are hundreds and thousands of, you know, organizations in India.
And it just came to you, like
She
that
came
whole...
to me, and then I was like, okay, madam, can you please give me your contact? And that's how I got in touch with her, and that's how I applied for TIS. And then I have pursued my master's degree in social work.
What did you
specializing-
study as an undergrad?
I just did political science and just BA, Bachelor's of Arts. Yeah,
That's okay.
at first.
All right, all right.
So my majors were political science and history. So it's a drastic change, you know. So then after I pursued my further studies, and then when I came back, that helped a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not just like, you know, you have to study and then you know everything, but it's all on the job.
Experience, your hands-on experience.
Hands-on
with children.
experience is the best, actually. Your education qualification doesn't matter much. Of course, if you have it, it's a plus point. But if you don't have it, it's the experience, I should say. Then slowly I started engaging myself. Then, you know, from outside, you know, we used to have this capacity building training for all the staffs, because when they join also, we hardly have special educators or trained professionals working in the area of disability in the country. So we have to actually hire people from outside and ask them to train our staffs.
Yes.
And that's how we actually build your capacity.
So how is Draktsho Bhutan doing right now? What is the status like? Yeah.
Great, actually. So we started in 2001 with just 3 vocational units. We had tailoring, weaving, and arts, and now we have bloomed to more. We have now souvenir making, the doll making, we have weaving, we have carpentry, and life and social skills. So as we went on, then we actually really got to know what children with disabilities or youth with disabilities they need and they require. So as per their need, we actually add some activities to the curriculum. Let's say, for instance, the life and social skills. It's very important, right? A child growing up must know how to must know the activities of daily living. That's how we call it in our field of disability, like independent toileting, independent eating, independent how to wear your dress. These are all independent life skills. And you know, there are children with disabilities, some of them who are severe with intellectual disabilities. So they have challenges doing all those tasks. And then we thought, okay, we must incorporate this activity as well. So we also incorporate. So like, you know, as we go on, we mature. And you know, the more we grow, I think the wiser we become. So that's how we learn also. And they actually teach us, you know, working with them, what are they really, their needs.
What about the children? What kind of children do you have at Draktsho?
We have children and youth with all types of disabilities. Like we have intellectual disabilities with Down syndrome, ADHD, we have with students with autism, then we have a few students with low vision, and we have few students with a person with deafness, and then we also have children with physical disabilities. So basically we cater our services to all kinds of disabilities. And then in 2010, following one of our long-term goals, we actually successfully set up a branch in Tashigang. So that's known as Draktsho East Center. We have similar activities, but the only difference is in Draktsho East, we provide them boarding facilities. So the students live there, and then, they just enjoy there. So now present Draktsho East, we are located in Kanglung, and then we received a big plot of land, about 6 to 7 acres of land from the government. So it's easy to get land on lease in the eastern side. And then with support from multiple donors, because if we have the land, then we can get the donors. So we have Save the Children Bhutan, we have Opening a Heart to Bhutan, then we had Embassy of Japan in Delhi, and Embassy of Federal Republic of Germany in Delhi. So these are the donors who actually supported us in coming up with the construction. So if you go to Draktsho East Center, I don't know whether you visited or not, you haven't been there, so maybe you should plan someday.
Wow.
So if you go there, you can see that all the classrooms, and all the boys hostel, girls hostel, everything is connected by, accessible wheelchair, and we have really big accessible, ramps over there. So the students can actually move about independently. So they just love it there. We have the recreational grounds, we have a football ground, so we have everything there. And Draktsho Thimphu is where, we are a bit cramped up in a rented flat. So if we have funds, which is very difficult to avail, it's not easy. So then we plan to maybe build a headquarters here.
Having worked for persons with disabilities and trying to equip them with the necessary skills to live their life, what are some challenges you face?
Well, some of the challenges we face, and personally me, is like, first of all, I think we need trained professionals, the trained professionals working in the area of disability, let's say in a country. Like we have to have special educators, a lot of them. We need a lot of occupational therapists, but as far as I'm concerned, I think there are only 1 or 2, but I had just met
in
one.
The country.
In the country, yes. And then there's these days, there are a lot of children with developmental delays, and then most of them, and many of them, they actually have speech delay, right? And what do we need? The first and foremost for early intervention, we need speech therapists, and very less speech therapists. So these are some of the, professional capacity people. People we need in this field. So this is one challenge, and of course, otherwise we need financial support, right? Because we have a lot of activities, we have the experience, so we are like, oh, we want to do this, we want to do that, but if you don't have the money, we can't do it. So that's another big challenge we face.
We've talked about Draktsho, I want to now come back to you. First of all, still related to Draktsho, what inspired you though? What inspired you? You made it sound like a switch from working in a hotel to your mom's nonprofit organization it came out like that. It came out easy there. But there must have been something that moved you inside for you to make that shift.
I should say that having somebody, let's say a person with disability in your family, is actually gives you more push.
I see.
So my brother, I have 2 younger brothers, so there are 3 of us. So my middle one, he is a person with disability. He has learning disability. So, but while growing up, we never knew, or we never thought that he had a disability. But we noticed that he used to stay a bit aloof, and he was a bit on the more naughtier side. We never knew, because those days the awareness was so minimum, I should say so minimum. So having a person with disability in your family gives you more motivation, wants you to do more, because you can actually feel them, you can actually be in their shoes. Unless and until you're in their shoes, you actually don't tend to actually feel the need or the pain or the struggles a person faces, let's say in any field. So there's always a saying, put yourself in the other person's shoe, then you'll feel. But it's easier said done. It's very difficult. So that was it. And then I have worked with many children with disabilities, and now it's been almost 18 years, my journey, as a volunteer, program deputy, then executive, So I have met a lot of stakeholders and many children with disabilities and also person with disabilities, and you actually come to know. So like going back to your question, I think having a person in the family actually makes you feel more, because then you know their needs, and then you know what they actually struggle with, and then you tend to work. And I should say that it's actually a blessing, and I'm happy where I am, because I may not be able to make changes in the country with regard to disability, like inclusivity, but, we have other organizations working with persons with disabilities. We have our donors, we have our well-wishers, we have our friends. If we all come together, and also the government, then I think we can push forward, for an inclusive society. That's what we look at. So now Bhutan has a national policy for persons with disabilities 2019, and I'm glad to say that I was a part of that, drafting the policy. And now recently the country has actually ratified the UNCRPD, the United Nations Conventions on the Right of Persons with Disabilities. So now I see that we have more legal rights. The families, the caregivers, the person with disabilities themselves, the service providers, so they can move forward. We can help them facilitate, we can help them empower, through empowerment, and then we have the legal rights to move forward. And I now feel quite positive with these legal bindings and international conventions the country has ratified. Maybe our person with disabilities may have a brighter future.
It's been a long fight though, right? Even to
Yes.
get the awareness out,
Yes.
then eventually to get the support, and then to make changes. Sometimes when you're going through these on a daily basis, sometimes the future might look grim, like you're not getting enough support, you're not getting enough fund, people are not understanding your cause, your fight. How do you deal with that when that happens? And does that happen, first of all? Are there days where you feel like, sometimes I'm fighting a hopeless fight, where people don't understand what I'm putting out? So, do you have those days?
I should say that maybe one of my strengths is being very optimistic and staying very calm and cool. That has always been there. So of course there were certain days that I have felt like that, but it's not like, you just give up and stay put. And sometimes, even when you go to seminars or meetings, you have to say what you have to say. You have to convey the message, right? And I'm like, even if people don't like me, it's okay. But I'm working in this field, and I'm trying to, facilitate or raise awareness about persons with disabilities, their challenges, their need. So I think if you just keep quiet thinking that, okay, what other people is going to say? Or they're like, say, there's a room full of really high-level people, and then, if you think they may not like it, it's, I think, your own personal right, like what you have to do, because you're in this field and you have to say what you have to say. So I just don't sometimes filter. I just say what I have to say, and I don't care whether they mind or not, because you have to do what you have to do, because I think about the future. Like present scenario, for example, let me say the policy says every child has a right to education. But when it comes to children with disabilities, this doesn't happen. So, in some ways they are discriminated, they have been left behind. Like, for example, every child has a right to go to a daycare center also, right? So children with disabilities who are severe with autism, ADHD, why don't they get admission in the daycare centers? Why are they kicked out of the schools? They're getting calls saying, oh, your son is so hyper, or your son with this, beat up my son. And, in very few cases, they were even like court cases, if I'm not mistaken, So a child without disability has all the benefits, but children with disabilities, though they have the right, the policy says so, so why are they being neglected, So these are some of the issues that we really want to, even I really want to. I cannot, like I said, alone myself, push forward this movement, but we have to work together. We have to all work together.
Professionally, you've mentioned all the support system that Draktsho has. And it's good to know that there are other organizations, similar organizations, or organizations with similar cause and purpose that support each other. But for Deki personally, who's your support system? Who makes Deki confident enough to fight the battles that are outside?
Well, when I started, I should say my mom. My mom was like, she's a single mother, so she raised all three of us. So she's a role model. And then she's a very cool, positive woman. Also, she does a lot of spiritual things, and she's into all these practices. So one is my mother, and now as I have grown, I have married, I have 2 children. So I should say my family also, you know, my husband supports me, and I have 2 beautiful boys, 6 and 8. So this is something which I always have, you know, and this is personally. Now professionally, of course, I have my staffs. I have very dedicated, passionate staffs. And honestly speaking, you know, Draktsho with almost 25 staffs, you know, it's very difficult to sustain, but we have been living. We have survived all these years, 24 years, and next year is going to be a super jubilee.
Wow,
So we look forward to some
congratulations
greater,
on
thank
that.
you.
It's a huge achievement. I hope you.
Yes, so I should say professionally, my staffs also, you know, they have been always supportive, and we have all been working very, you know, with low salaries and underpaid, but yet they're there. They've been working there for 18 years, and I have one staff who's been there since the inception. She's still there working full-fledged. So, you know, you can see that dedication and compassion. I mean, how long would anybody want to even work in this area? But they have stayed back.
Deki, how do you handle setbacks? As in the sense, when things don't work out your way, how do you deal with it? And how do you overcome setbacks?
So I think that works both personally and professionally, right? So setbacks at work, I would say if there's a small minor problem, like say there's a little bit of, you know, fight or some kind of misunderstanding among staff, or, you know, even parents or anything. So what we do is, like, I would like to listen to both sides of the stories, you know. Sometimes what we become is we become too judgmental. And sometimes you have this emotional attachment with one person, which is, I think, professionally not right, because that should be, I think, kept away. So it's better to first sit calm and then listen to this side of the story and also the other side of the story, and then maybe try to, you know, make things right. So best thing is you should listen and keep yourself calm. Sometimes you just tend to lose your calm, you know, so and then think positive. Like I said, I'm a very positive person, and I'm like, even if I have deadlines coming, and even if like Draktsho is running out of fund, and I have to pay the staff salary of like almost 25 staff, right? Still, I'm like so cool, I should say, and I feel, and I should really thank it's the blessings from above that somehow we have been managing, we have survived. So I think one of my strengths actually comes into this, because keeping calm and remaining positive and thinking, no, it's okay. And even if something happens bad, let's say personally, so I take it positively. So I think that, you know, maybe this really happened for a reason, not a bad reason, but a good reason. It hurts you, it makes you feel bad, but you learn through those mistakes. So just think positively. That's what I do. Whatever happens, happens for a good reason. I know sometimes it's not so easy, but then that actually tends to calm you and then keep you focused.
I see. Yeah, focused on the goal.
Yeah, focused, yeah, that's.
Deki, what is one rewarding experience of your life? What's the most rewarding experience you've had in your life?
Rewarding, most rewarding. Personally, I should say when I became a mother.
Yes, let's talk
first
about that
child,
too,
yeah,
because you did not plan on getting married.
No,
Ever.
no.
It was not in the agenda.
It was not in the agenda, but I'm like, you know, I was like having fun, you know, with friends and all, but I was like, and I was in my early 30s, and like marriage was not in my agenda. I was like, if I meet somebody nice, okay, yes. If not, it's not a problem. I'm going to stay like this. Then it just happened, right? And then personally, when I conceived with my first child, so when I had him, that was the most rewarding personally, that, okay, finally you have a son, you have a beautiful son, and then you're a mother. And professionally, I should say when I completed my master's degree in social work, specialized in disability rehabilitation, because that's what I really wanted to pursue. And trust me, in Tata Institute of Social Sciences, that was not easy. Oh my goodness.
Social work is generally a very tough course to take.
So we had 4 semesters. After the first semester, I even thought, I think I should drop down because this is really tough. But then I continued, and then on the second year, it became a lot easier. Then I could adapt, and then I managed. So having that degree certificate professionally was most rewarding. And apart from that, you know, like I said, coming from a sports background, I actually train my students in sports. I literally train them because having a sports background and also a little bit of knowledge on disability, and then, of course, the hands-on practice, so you can actually connect all those and you can teach them. Because just say you have a professional athlete, athletic coach, and you ask him or her to teach a person with disabilities, they will have challenges because they don't know about disability, they don't know how that particular child is, what medical health condition the student has. So all this, because we know, so I have trained my students, and we have also participated in the Special Olympics, few of Draktsho students. It started in 2011. So we had 4 athletes, 2 boys and 2 girls with intellectual disability participated, who participated in the World Games that was held in Athens in Greece, 2011. So we were having the mixed relay race, and Bhutan completed first, and I seriously could not believe. I was like, did we really win gold? Did we really win gold? Because you have the big screens, at the Olympic stadiums where they actually reflect all those who have won the position wise. And then suddenly Bhutan comes first. I was so happy, trust me. I was so happy. I was like, Tashi, I had my other male coach, Tashi, we really won gold, So that was again one precious moment I would like to recall. Being with them, and then they performed, and it makes you feel so proud that, they did it. So that's one precious moment which I couldn't
Deki, in your own words, complete the following, okay? I'll say, Deki Zam is?
Well, Deki Zam is a confident woman, a mother of 2 beautiful children, and then, there are many people who actually think that I'm very reserved and they get intimidated. So I should say that I'm not at all like that. I may look, but then if you try to get to know me, I'm very friendly and I have a lot of humor. Oh, I think I would go for the second one, the unlimited resources to build an inclusive environment. I think I would like to go for the second one as well, to see the future impact of my work. I think I would unwind and relax. I love the movie Forrest Gump. I think everybody has watched that. It's so inspiring, yeah. I love dancing, and I can dance. Trust me.
Every woman's journey is a testament to strength and perseverance, proving that barriers can be broken and dreams can be realized. As we close this chapter, let's continue to amplify voices, uplift one another, and create a future where every story inspires change. Until next time, remember, your story is a part of the greater narrative of change and progress. Until next time, keep writing your own Her Story.